Welcome to Top 10 USA, home of the Rocket Platform. Please follow our installation procedures and be sure to use appropriate ESD standards and techniques throughout the installation process. If these procedures are not followed appropriately, damage to your SAN as well as data loss may occur. If your machine is covered under the Rocket Plus subscription and you have any questions or concerns, please open a ticket through the Rocket Platform customer portal. Thank you for purchasing your pre-configured Dell EqualLogic SAN from the Rocket Platform. This instructional is to help you with the installation of your new array. This particular EqualLogic array is designed to utilize a Dell blade chassis for power and networking. The EqualLogic array will require two empty blade slots, the first of which being an odd-numbered slot, with the other being the slot immediately to the right-hand side. Insert the array into the desired blade slots. When inserted around 90% of the way, the metal bar on the top of the array will begin to push forward. Continue pushing the array into the slot until the array can no longer seat inwards without disturbing the metal bar. Now push the metal bar towards the blade chassis, causing the array to seat the rest of the way. Once inserted fully into the chassis, you will need to insert the internal components into the array. To access the component slots, you will need to slide the enclosure drawer forward. Push the center of the array inward until you feel or hear the click releasing the drawer slide locking mechanism. You will now be able to slide the drawer forward to reveal the component slots. Insert the drives into the drive bays. In order to insert the drive into its drive bay, open the arm on the drive tray all the way. Now insert the drive into its bay, ensuring the LED indicators are situated on the left-hand side. When inserted around 90% of the way, the arm on the drive tray will begin to seat into its slot. Once the arm begins to catch into its slot, depress on the arm of the drive to seat the drive the rest of the way. Repeat this process until all the drives have been inserted into the array. Now that the drives have been inserted into their bays, you will need to insert the control modules. Similar to the drives, you will need to first open the metal arm on the control module all the way. Insert the controller into its slot, ensuring the LED indicators are situated toward the blade chassis. Around 90% of the way into the slot, the arm on the control module will begin to seat into its slot. When the arm begins to catch into its slot, depress on the arm of the control module to seat the controller the rest of the way. Repeat this process on the alternate controller. Now that all the components have been inserted into the array, slide the drawer back to its resting position and enter into the management GUI for the blade chassis. From the blade chassis GUI, select the array you have just installed. Toward the top of the page, you will see a row of tabs. Navigate to the Power tab. In this tab, you will see a list of options to change the power status of the array. Select the Power on Server option and then click Apply at the bottom of the page. The array will take around 10 to 15 minutes to boot. After waiting the 10 to 15 minutes, navigate to the Properties tab. Toward the top of the tab, you will see an information bubble stating that the array is not yet configured. Click on the Configure Array hyperlink to begin the configuration process. From the configuration page, you will see a list of attributes that will need to be set. Start with the member name. This name will be used as the identity of the particular array. After setting the member name, you will need to set the member IP address. This address will be set to represent the array on the network. Now set the net mask, which is used to determine the network range the IP address resides on, and the default gateway. The next option you will see is the Use Existing Group option with a checkbox. This option would be used if you have an existing group of EqualLogics that you want this member to join. If you do have a group, check the checkbox. If not, leave the checkbox unchecked. Now set the group name, which will be used as the identity of the cluster of EqualLogics in the group. Now set the group IP address. The next two fields are the member management password. This password is specific for the allowance of EqualLogics to join the group the password is set for. If you are adding this array to a pre-existing group, you will need to enter the password that has already been set on said group. After inputting the membership management password, you will then set the group administrator password, which will modify the default password for the default admin account. You'll need to set the network fabric that the I/O cards are configured for. The network cards for this example are on fabric A, so the value must be set to fabric A. After setting the network fabric, select Apply toward the bottom of the page. The array will now initialize itself based on the parameters you have just set. It will take around 15 to 20 minutes for the array to become accessible via the GUI. Wait for the array to initialize, Then in your preferred browser, enter either the member IP or group IP into your address bar. When presented with a login prompt, log in using the GRP admin account with the administrator password you had just set. Now that you are logged into the Group Manager, you will need to set the specific RAID that you would like applied to the member, and the storage pool for the member to belong to. First expand on the members tree and select the member you had just installed. Once selected, a window will appear asking if you would like to configure the RAID for the array. Select the option Yes to continue, and a new window will appear. From the first tab of the new window, you will be able to alter the name of the member and select a storage pool for the member to belong to. A storage pool is a set of arrays that span data related to the pool across the arrays. This feature allows you to have multiple arrays in group for simple management, while allowing you to determine what information is shared between which arrays. Arrays in the same group will not span data with other members if they are not within the same storage pool. The default storage pool will automatically be selected whenever configuring the RAID on a new member. Select the storage pool you wish this array to join. Note that the array can be moved from storage pool to storage pool as long as there is enough free space on the remaining members of the pool to relieve the data off of the member prior to removing the member into the new pool. After selecting the storage pool, you will click Next to continue. Select the RAID policy you wish to have configured for this array. After selecting the RAID policy, there will be an option for RAID accessibility. You can choose to have the data accessible immediately or tell the array to wait until the RAID is verified before allowing access to the storage. Select the option based upon personal preference, then select Next to continue. In this final tab, you will be shown a summary of the configuration you had just set. Select Finish to finalize the options and initialize the RAID. Now that the RAID is initializing, you will need to configure the rest of the ports on the new member. Navigate to the Networks tab. In this tab, you will see a network configuration for this particular array. The port you had configured during the initial configuration will show up with the specific settings assigned during the initial configuration, while the other ports will show up with no information for either the IP or net mask. Double-click on one of the ports and a window will appear. Input the desired IP address and net mask, then select OK to enact the changes on the port. The port will now activate with the settings applied. If you chose to wait for the verification of the RAID before allowing accessibility, you must wait for your RAID to verify before using the array. If you chose to allow accessibility immediately, you may now begin using the array. If any issues arise during the installation process or you have any questions or concerns, please contact us directly. Thank you for choosing the Rocket Platform, the evolution of hardware maintenance.
Thanks for watching. This has been another video by the Top 10 USA Video Production Team. We look forward to sharing more content with you going forward, so please check out our YouTube channel and please subscribe so that you get notified whenever we release a new piece of content.